Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this edition of the Prime Time Newscast in the English language on Canal the International. I'm called Morinzi. We begin with our top stories. 16 non-governmental organizations have called on state authorities and on all the parties involved in the crisis in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon to give dialogue a chance that is coming at a time when the world is also bidding a farewell to Barrister Kemende, shot in cold blood some weeks back in Bamenda, northwest region of Cameroon. And the Cameroon Renaissance Movement Party has asked government to unconditionally release the party militants sentenced last December 27, rubbishing allegations levied against them. And Russian forces have launched and major military assaults on Ukraine with missile strikes and explosions near major cities. Those were major stories. Details right ahead. Good evening once more. Some 60 non-governmental organizations have called on state authorities and all the parties involved in the crisis in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon to give dialogue a chance. They made a call this Wednesday announcing plans to initiate the dialogue at all costs. More on the story with our reporter Hyson Cha.
The uniting force of over 60 groups of women from the national territory coming together with one voice and one objective to lead the dialogue process between the parties involved in the ongoing crisis in the northwest and southwest regions of the country.
Now we are saying that we will sit on the table and invite the men to come listen to us and then tell us what the problem is.
The situation which they lament is ravaging lives indiscriminately, and as mothers they insist it is painful to fold their arms and watch such happenings.
The conflict has brought us lots of pain, separation, lots of division. Our houses burnt, schools burnt, our children kidnapped, our husbands kidnapped. We lost our motherhood in respect because most of our children have either joined the known state actors, and they are all decreeing and fighting.
They are conscious it won't be an easy task bringing the protagonists on the dialogue table, but they believe in the power of a woman.
We know the hearts of men are very hard. And so the women will find a way, even on the beds, we will find a way. In the markets, in the streets, in our offices, we will all be able to talk and find a way that those who are supposed to sit and talk about the situation should be able to listen to their people. The narratives on the ground have changed. The rate of violence is increasing. The rate of division is increasing. Our children are in lots of drug addiction. You see, our schools are turning upside down.
As the first weapon of this move, the civil society activists in their camp together this February 23rd consolidated their ties under the National Women's Convention for Peace in Cameroon.
Kemende and route is en route to eternity. The lifeless body of the SD politician was removed from the Bamenda military mortuary. Today, it should be noted, Barrister Kemende was shot in cold blood by armed men in Bamenda in the northwest region of Cameroon. And the Cameroon Renaissance Movement Party has called on the government of Cameroon to release all their prisoners unconditionally, those that were sentenced on last December, 27 rubbish in all allegations are levied against them. In a press conference this Thursday in Yaoundé, the opposition political party says it's time to come out from the silence and get back to the media to denounce all these allegations. More on the story with our reporter, Hysen Chia.
Over 2 months of total silence from the authorities of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement with regards to the sentence of party treasurer Alain Fogué, Bibou Nisak and 125 others by the military tribunal, the CRM has this Thursday, February 24th, decided to break the silence, demanding for their unconditional release.
Our objective was to tell the journalists, but not only you, the national opinion, what is the case, what is the situation of our prisoners, even in Kondengue, in Yaoundé, in Douala, in Bafoussam. They were condemned by a military tribunal. That is not normal because they cannot judge civilians before military tribunals. So that is what we have to. That is what we need to say today, this morning. And secondly,
talking to the men and women of the press at their party's headquarters in Yaoundé, the third vice president announced the massive return of the militants on different media platforms.
You know that CRM decided not to go on TV or radio for debates. We have decided to come back on the media, and we hope that during the following days, you will once more see our militants, our leaders before medias, and we hope that you are going to invite us once more.
The political party of Maurice Kamto continued to rubbish the allegations of revolution, insurrection, public disorder, stating that the right to public manifestation is highly bounded by the penal code. And so their colleagues, they say, are simply political victims of the regime.
And drivers plying the Bangante stretch that links up to major regions across the country have been cautioned against overspeeding, which remains the main cause of road accidents in that part of the country. The measures are coming after an accident that killed at least 5 persons. The divisional delegate for transport was appealed to sensitize drivers and road users. More on the story with our reporter, Seraphine Stephanie Chin.
A release from the Divisional Delegation of Transport says high speed and recklessness are among the major causes of road accidents on the Yaoundé-Bangante road axis. Bangante is again in the spotlight after at least 5 persons died on February 22nd. A combined road safety operation to sensitize drivers and road users has been initiated by the transport delegate for the division. Road signs were erected as a measure to remind drivers of the need to be cautious. You find youths below 30 who are truck drivers today. They don't master the highway code, road signs, and even the trucks they drive. We need speed brakes on this stretch, at least that will slow down vehicles running on high speed. Hundreds of drivers were sensitized during the recent outing by the divisional delegate. They were handed flyers on how to reach out in case of any misconduct. What we are doing is in line with instructions from the Ministry of Transport to ensure that we have special programs to sensitize against road accidents. These last days, we've observed that there is a lot of misconduct from drivers, most especially excess speed. We are here to intensify the fight against road accidents.
About 4 houses or shops have been reduced to ashes in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, precisely in the Simbok neighborhood. The fire incident on Wednesday was caused by an explosion of a gas bottle. More on the story with our student journalist, Udmu Kusumi.
Violent flames seen this afternoon at the Sibong neighborhood in Yaoundé. The cause reported today an explosion of a gas bottle which destroyed about 4 business structures.
The fire generated from a nearby restaurant. The woman was cooking. There was gas leakage and the bottle caught fire. That is how it started.
Houses turned to ashes, materials damaged, goods unrecoverable. Fortunately, no human loss recorded as a result of the unfortunate incident, though a lady sustained light wounds. Thanks to the intervention of the inhabitants of the neighborhood and the firefighting elements that put out the flames. Meantime, the total cost of the damage is yet to be determined.
Teachers embarked in or continue to observe strike action in schools across the country. Those in Bam and Kim division are rather interested in capacity building workshop with a major preoccupation, the lack of trained teachers and infrastructure. Our reporter Stephanie Chi tells us more.
He is the head teacher of government primary school Montema 2. He expresses difficulties he is facing in discharging his duties. The difficulties I face in my school is the fact that I am the only teacher who takes care of more than 53 students, whereas we have many professional teachers out there. I'll plead on the government to post teachers this way. For instance, today we had a meeting and I am obliged to close the class. The teachers from all 5 subdivisions, that is Bangasina, Yoko, Goro, Gambe Tika, and Tsui, have gathered to discuss challenges of teachers in the Bam and Kim division. Among the most pressing is the lack of teachers. The state has to send us government teachers so as to facilitate the task for parents who spend extra money paying teachers here for private classes. Accompanied by district inspectors, directors and teachers, divisional delegate of basic education from Bam and Kim reviewed problems tabled and discussed the way forward. This is an evaluation meeting in which we had to address negative things that were listed out during the last meeting in order to have the best perspectives for a better future and to brighten education of the Bam and Kim division, especially Bangasina. Measures have been taken to strengthen the capacity of teachers in the Bam and Kim division to better improve the living condition of teachers, given the vast uneducated and isolated nature of the division.
And tougher days ahead for churches, drinking spots and other recreational sites in the Douala to a council area that have been operating on clandestine basis. It follows numerous complaints from the population who have described such areas as a threat to social peace. These and many other problems were tabled to the divisional officer for Douala to while on a contact tour in the area. More on the story with our reporter Saleh Sharifa.
The divisional officer for Douala 2 has sent out strong signals to churches and drinking spots operating clandestinely in his area of command. This comes after numerous complaints from the population who have described the churches and drinking spots as threats to social peace. We will make it our duty to report to the hierarchy, which is at the higher strategic level, and may possibly provide solutions to the problems that have been listed out. Some of these churches, drinking spots and others, inhabitants say are a means of public noise with loud prayers. This goes to disturb citizens, reason why the divisional officer for Douala 2 in his address said he was ready to crack down such places and others without mercy. The divisional officer's speech brings a lot of hope, especially in terms of security, because for some time now, we have been invaded by public insecurity of another kind. The contact store of the divisional officer for Douala 2 attracted hundreds of denizens who also promised to accompany him with the challenging task of boosting economic activities and development for the area.
And that report brings us to the end of this edition of Newscast on Canal International. Thanks so much for watching. We have news in the French language at exactly 19:50 à l'English Kanga. But coming up next is the brief with Lil Piaget. So we'll be back same time tomorrow. Good night.